Okay, we've got our handles done, our zipper pulls done, our pockets done. Now we're ready to put the zipper in the zipper strips, join that to our side strip, and then we're ready to put our bag together. This is going together really quickly. So the first thing we're going to do is sew our zipper to our 2 zipper strips. And it's just like we did in our zipper tutorials. We're going to put our zipper face down on top of our side strip, sew a 1/4 inch seam, finger press our zipper tape to the back, and then we're going to attach it to the other zipper strip. The important thing here is you want to make sure that these are lined up so that they're even on each end, because the math of this strip joined to the side strip has to exactly match the math of the sides of the bag. So you don't want to be trimming this or trying to make it fit, or your bag's not going to go together really well. So the best way I've found to do this is to fold my strip over onto here and put some Wonder Clips on. A lot of times you're working with a much thicker strip, so I can actually put Wonder Clips here. But on this one, our strips are pretty narrow, so we're just going to put them on each end. And I do quite a few Wonder Clips here so that I make sure that everything's held together really well. Then I'm going to sew that with a 1/4 inch seam, finger press it to the back and stitch it, so when I'm done, I've got a strip that looks like this. Now, because I never know for sure what zippers people are using, even though I suggest that they use By Annie's handbag zippers, which are wider because they're easier to put in and they've got the extra big pulls and they're easy to sew through, sometimes people want to use zippers that they've got in their stash. So if you were using a dressmaker zipper to make this, your strip is going to be narrower than my strip is. So I account for that when I design the pattern, and I cut these wide enough so that if you are using a narrower zipper, it's going to work. So in the pattern, it will tell you after you've got your zipper in there, you're going to trim this to 2.5 inches wide. And when I do that, I like to take my ruler and align it. Half of 2.5 is 1 1/4. So I'm going to take the 1 1/4 inch line and line it right up with the center of my zipper teeth, so that it's right there. I'll trim along that side, and then I'll turn the strip and I'll put my 2.5 inch mark on and trim the other side. That way I make sure that my zipper is right in the middle of the strip when I attach it to my bag. So there we've got our zipper side strip ready to go, and in our next step we're going to pull our zipper pulls so that they're inside our bag. We want to be able to open our bag both ways, so we used a double slide zipper, and we're just going to sew across each end and then whack off that extra zipper tape so that we're left with our piece in the center ready to go. Then we're ready to take that piece and attach it to our side strip to make the piece that goes all the way around our bag. And to do this, this is a little trick that I can share because we want this to be nice and smooth and flat. So we're going to do our binding on the ends a little bit different than I normally would do a binding. So we're going to match our zipper strip up with our side strip, and we're going to sew across that with a 3/8 inch seam. Because I'm usually sewing with my number 37 foot, which is a 1/4 inch foot on my Bernina, I will sew a 1/4 inch and then I'll sew 1/8 of an inch on either side of that. By doing 3 lines of stitching in that, you can see how well that mashes that down. Can you see how much flatter that is than that is right there? Just by doing those 3 lines of stitching instead of 1 line of stitching. After I've got those sewn together 3 times, then I'm going to align my binding on top, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing on there. I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam, 1/8 on each side, so I end up with a 3/8 inch seam, and then I'm ready to finish that off. And if you look on this end, you're going to see what I do next. I'm going to take that binding over and lay it flat against my side strip and stitch right along the folded edge so that when I'm done, I've got a nice flat seam there without any bulk in it that's going to lay perfectly nice in the side of my bag. So that's my zipper side strip all finished and ready to go, and we're ready to assemble our bag.